Becoming the version of you that your people deserve. You say you love them, but do they get the best version of you or what's left of you? You want to be dependable, strong, inspiring, but some days your energy is so drained that the people you care about only get the scraps of your patience, your kindness, your time. Let's be real, sometimes we prioritize healing, hustle, or survival, but in the process, we unintentionally neglect the very relationships we swore to protect. This episode is not about perfection, it's about alignment. It's about becoming the version of you that your people deserve, not the perfect one, not the overly self-sacrificing one, but the present, grounded, growing one. Because when you evolve, everyone around you benefits. Your kids, your partner, your community, your future. Let's talk about how to become that version. Not someday, but starting today. Welcome back to the Get Up, Show Up, Never Give Up podcast, where healing meets power and growth turns into legacy. I'm your host, and today's episode is an honest one. We're talking about the quiet guilt of showing up half full, the internal tension between self-growth and relational neglect, and how to build a life where your personal development enhances your relationships instead of accidentally dimming them. Because the real flex is not being busy, not being booked out, not being successful alone. The real power is becoming so rooted in your identity and your healing that the people you love feel it. They feel safer, stronger, seen because of your growth, not in spite of it. Let's unpack that today. The misalignment trap. Let's start with the hard truth. Many of us are unknowingly living in misalignment with our values. We say we value love, but we barely have time for connection. We say we value honesty, but we silence our truths to avoid conflict. We say we want to be present, but our minds are always in the next task. Sound familiar? This misalignment isn't about bad intentions. It's usually about overextension. According to a 2020 study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, over 63% of people surveyed admitted they regularly sacrifice important relationships due to work or personal stress, even though they ranked those relationships as top priorities. That's wild. We're literally saying this matters most, but living like it doesn't. That's where resentment brews, not just from others, but from within. You start to resent yourself for always being tired, for snapping at people you love, for not remembering the last meaningful conversation you had with your partner or kids. That's the cost of misalignment, and it's one most of us are paying without realizing it. So, how do we fix it? Not by doing more, but by becoming more aligned. Becoming the version of you that your people deserve isn't about adding pressure. It's about removing the mask. It's about asking, am I giving the world my grind and my family my leftovers? If yes, let's change that. The energy audit. Here's where we get practical. Before you can become the version of you that your people deserve, you have to know what's draining you. Enter the energy audit. The energy audit is a tool I recommend doing weekly. It's simple, but very revealing. Break down your week into 4 categories. 1, What gave me energy? 2, what drained my energy? 3, what moments made me proud of how I showed up? 4, where did I show up in a way I regret or want to improve? When you track this consistently, patterns emerge. You'll notice, wow, every time I overbook my Mondays, I'm short with my partner that night. Or when I don't move my body, my patience drops. Or when I don't unplug before bed, I snap at my kids in the morning. This isn't about guilt. It's about data. It's about awareness, because awareness is the first step to alignment. Now, here's the game changer. Once you identify what's draining you, you replace it. You protect the energy your people deserve. That means saying no to things that steal your peace, creating tech-free time at home, scheduling check-ins with your partner, just like you'd schedule a meeting. You don't have to become a different person overnight. You just have to stop ignoring the energy leaks. Because when your energy is clean, your presence is powerful. The love alignment framework. So, how do you consciously become the version of you that your people deserve? Here's the love alignment framework. 3 powerful pillars. 1, intentional presence. Being there physically doesn't mean being there emotionally. In 2022, Harvard researchers studying emotional intelligence and relationships found that people who practice 10-minute daily presence sessions, no phones, no distractions, just eye contact and active listening, had 68% relationship satisfaction ratings. 10 minutes, that's it. Intentional presence is about choosing moments to be fully immersed, not while multitasking, not while checking in, but scrolling Instagram or Facebook, but truly seeing the people in front of you. This can look like a walk with your partner after dinner, phones down, a 5-minute bedtime talk with your kid, a friend check-in where you ask how they really are. When your presence is real, people feel safe. And when they feel safe, they open up. And that builds trust that lasts beyond any gift or milestone. Number 2, emotional transparency. Being the version your people deserve doesn't mean being perfect. It means being honest. If you're tired, say you're tired without guilt. If you're hurting, say you're hurting without shame. If you're healing, let them know you're in process, not fully there yet. Most people aren't hurt by your imperfection. They are hurt by your silence, by the walls, by the guessing games. According to Dr. Brené Brown's work on vulnerability and leadership, shared emotional transparency is one of the top predictors of psychological safety in teams and in families. You don't have to trauma dump. You just have to say, I'm working on myself right now. It might make me a little quiet or tired, but it doesn't mean I love you less. That kind of honesty disarms tension. It replaces resentment with understanding. And it invites the people you love to support you instead of being confused by you. Number 3, relational standards. This one might challenge you. Becoming the version your people deserve doesn't mean doing everything. It means holding a standard for how you want to show up and how you want to be treated. Sometimes that means teaching people that love isn't loud, it's consistent. Sometimes it means reestablishing boundaries with family who don't respect your time. Sometimes it's choosing peace over performing. High standards aren't harsh, they're clarifying. When you set relational standards like, I don't argue when I'm triggered, let's revisit this when I'm calm. Or another example, I protect Sundays for family. Or I won't chase validation, I'll lead with love. You stop being reactive and you start being anchored. And your people will either rise with you or reveal they never wanted to grow at all. Research dive, the emotional ripple effect. Let's go deeper into the science. The emotional ripple effect is a term coined by psychologists at Stanford University to describe how a person's emotional regulation patterns influence the emotional well-being of those closest to them, especially within family units and intimate relationships. They studied over 400 couples and families and found when one person consistently practiced calm conflict responses, the entire family dynamic improved over time, even without therapy. When parents adopted emotionally intelligent self-talk during stress, for example, I'm frustrated, but I can respond with kindness, children modeled the behavior within 48 hours. Why does this matter? Because your growth isn't selfish. Your boundaries don't just protect you, they teach others. They liberate others. They create the environment where love thrives. That's legacy, not just what you build, but who you allow others to become in your presence. You becoming the version of you that your people deserve, that is not an act of ego. That's an act of generational leadership. You shift the atmosphere. You model the healing. You change the script for everyone watching you. The identity upgrade. Let's talk about identity. You can't become the version your people deserve while holding on to the version of you that no longer serves. This is where a lot of people get stuck. They think becoming better for others means losing themselves. But the truth, you don't lose your identity when you grow. You refine it. You upgrade it. Here's how to start the upgrade. Step 1, write the job description. Ask yourself, if I were hiring the ideal version of me to love my people well, what would that job description look like? Emotionally available, reliable, encouraging, present, boundaried, honest, uplifting. Now compare that list to your daily behaviors. Where do you align and where do you fall short? This isn't a shame exercise. It's an integrity check. You wouldn't hire someone to love your kids or partner or community halfway. So why should you accept halfway from yourself? Step 2, commit to character, not mood. People who are driven by emotion show up inconsistently. People who are driven by character show up with integrity. The person your people deserve is not a flawless, always happy version of you. It's the version of you who chooses character, even when it's inconvenient. You may not feel like being patient. You may not feel like listening. You may not feel like saying, I love you first. But when you decide that who you are matters more than how you feel, you build relational trust that is unshakable. And that version of you, that's the one they'll remember. That's the one they'll lean on. Step 3, celebrate progress, not perfection. It's easy to beat yourself up when you fall short, when you yell, snap, disappear, get quiet, get defensive. But the goal here isn't perfection. The goal is awareness, adjustment, and apology. You can fall short and still be trustworthy. You can make mistakes and still be safe. You can be in process and still be powerful. What makes you the version they deserve isn't flawlessness. It's your willingness to own your actions, learn from them, and do better. So celebrate progress like, I paused before reacting today, or I took a walk instead of yelling. I apologize without defensiveness. That is growth, and that is what they'll remember. Real talk. What happens if you don't? Let's talk about the other side. What happens if you don't become the version your people deserve? Here's what often happens. Relationships weaken quietly. Your children mimic your avoidance or anger. Your partner pulls away emotionally. Friends stop reaching out. You become successful but lonely. And over time, the people who once needed your love begin to protect themselves from your inconsistency. Not because they stopped caring, but because they stopped feeling safe. Here's the truth. Unhealed versions of us create harm we didn't mean to cause. But healed versions of us, we repair that damage. And we teach others that love can be safe again, that presence can be consistent, that healing doesn't make you selfish. It makes you stronger for everyone who depends on you. Your legacy starts today. Let's land this episode with a reminder you can carry with you. The version of you they deserve isn't some perfect, healed, polished person far off in the distance. It's the version of you that wakes up each day and decides, I will show up for the people I love in a way they can feel, trust, and grow beside. Because your character is louder than your promises. Your patterns speak louder than your potential. And here's the best part. You don't have to overhaul your life to become this version. You only need to begin today. Here's your implementation plan for this week. 1. The mirror prompt. Every morning, ask yourself, if I were becoming the version of me that my people need, what's one thing I do today? Then go do it, even if it's small, especially if it's inconvenient. That's how you rewire your identity. 2. The check-in. Text or speak this out loud to someone you love. I'm learning how to love better. If there's ever a moment I don't show up in a way you deserve, know I'm committed to growing, and you can tell me. That one sentence, it creates emotional safety. It makes room for grace, and it shows you're not just talking, you're building. 3. The future you letter. Write a letter from the future version of yourself, the one who has done the healing, grown in patience, become reliable, soft, strong, consistent. Let them thank you for starting. Let them tell you how proud they are that you didn't wait for a breakdown to do the rebuilding. Let that letter guide your next steps. Your legacy isn't defined by perfection. It's defined by your presence, by your willingness to evolve, to get it wrong and try again, to love better, braver, louder, to become the version your people deserve, even when no one sees it but you. Because love isn't just about feeling, it's about becoming, not just for them, but for you too. So if today is the day you decide to rise, you're not late, you're not behind, you're not broken, you're becoming. And the world needs that version of you more than ever. Thank you for listening to the Get Up, Show Up, Never Give Up podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who deserves a better version of love. New episodes every Monday and Thursday at 6:30 a.m. Until next time, get up, show up, and never give up.